It's been a great college and pro basketball season, ranked number one since October when both seasons began in all side selections, college and pro combined. And I've got the strongest play I've released all year. I did not have a 5% in football or basketball. In fact, the last one was baseball back in June, and it won. It's been over 200 and some days, over 400 some plays. I've got one going tonight in college hoops. And as many viewers know, I love this time of year because there's so many great situational setups within conference season, second revenge meetings, etc. And we're going to get to one of the revenge meetings in a moment in the second game. This one theoretically does not have revenge, but there's an angle I love. As you guys know, I love to fade the public. Super Bowl's done. NFL's done. But there's a nice little fade the public angle in college basketball. Brian Power and I have both been talking about this for the past couple seasons. And by the way, it pops quite often in my college basketball top 25 video, which I do on Friday nights for the Saturdays games, and I'll throw it out there when I see it. But this is a situation where we have an unranked team favored over a ranked team. And Iowa State's not just a ranked team. They're top 10 in the nation, and they're catching points here against an unranked team. So that really catches your eye. It's a contrarian call. It's an angle that continues to hit well over 67% the last couple seasons in college basketball on the blind. And I think there's several reasons why it'll work again tonight as well at 7 o'clock Eastern. First of all, Iowa State moved up 4 spots from 14th in both polls to 10th now, and that because of the back-to-back wins last week on the road at Texas as a slight dog, and also against TCU by 12 at home. And TCU, of course, is a team I mentioned in my video this past Saturday that had just fallen out of the top 25. They'd also lost a game to Iowa State by a single point on the road a couple weeks earlier. So Iowa State didn't have revenge in that game, but it was a big home win for them. They also have Texas Tech back at home on deck later this week. I think this could be a little bit of a flat spot against a Cincinnati team that's playing solid basketball this year, 12-3 straight up at home. And another reason I love February, I love the middle of the conference season, isn't just the second meetings, the revenge, but I love strong home courts because we have some good data to go with. And this is a team that's just 3-5 away, but 12-3 at home this year. And I think it's a focus spot for Cincinnati, and it's not a focus spot for Iowa State. So even though they haven't played yet this season, I like Cincinnati at home laying the short number tonight at 7 Eastern.
So you talked about the season-long record for the Bearcats at home. When we look at their most, what did you say, 12-3? Well, they're 2-3 in their last 5. So the home court hasn't been as strong losing. I mean, it's not like the Big 12 is easy. There's brutal competition up and down the conference. But you're losing at home to Houston, and that was a hard-fought game over the weekend against the Cougs. You said you thought it might be a flat spot for the road team. Are you worried at all that the home team, who hasn't necessarily been winning these games and is coming off a brutal loss in a game where they, played balls to the wall, you worried it might be a flat spot for them at all?
Yeah, we said they've lost some games recently at home. I was going to say, well, that last loss wasn't too bad by just 5 points against maybe the best team in the country, like you said, Houston. It's interesting. They only shot 37% of that game, Teddy, and that's one of the reasons I do like them to bounce back, because Houston is the best defensive team in college basketball. And Iowa State's a good team at both ends of the court, a very good defensive team as well, but it's still a step down in class. Very seldom do you say playing the number 10 team in the nation is a step down in class, but after just playing Houston and losing by only 5, this is actually an easier game. And once again, it's the ultimate contrarian call because the line is moving. In fact, Cincinnati briefly opened as a home dog overnight, and now it's a 1.5. Looks like it might even hit 2 in some spots. So this is a sharp square divide. It's a situation that continues to work. And the fact that Cincinnati remains at home also and doesn't have to travel, I think is also an additional edge for them, whereas Iowa State has to hit the road after a couple days. So I like the setup here, and hopefully Houston did not beat the Bearcats up too much on Saturday.